1, 2, 3.
Rory Stuart here, and we're very fortunate to have great saxophonist and composer John Ellis with us. And in particular, we wanted to talk with him a little bit about Nowny Dreams, which is an example in this volume of the rhythm book, talking about pieces with changing meters. And this is a really interesting, wonderful piece. Maybe John will tell us a little bit about how he thinks about it, how he wrote it, and so forth. John Ellis.
Good to be here. Thank you, Rory. Proud of you that you've made these amazing books. Everyone needs to go out and pick them up. So yeah, Nowny Dreams. This was a record I made many years ago called Roots, Branches, and Leaves, and I was kind of digging into my my past in terms of songs that were in my family, and particularly songs that I associated with my grandparents, that they sang to us and that they sang to my mother. And so Nowny Dreams was just a lullaby, really simple lullaby that my grandmother sang. I had this cassette tape of these songs that she sang, and it was just like to put your kid to sleep, you know. Nowny, 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 Nowny. So that's all it was. And so then the idea of, I was just turning that over in my head and thinking about if there's something we could do with it where we could play it. And I had Bilal, he went to school with me at the same time, Bilal Oliver, so I had him singing. And instead of it having being so simple in that kind of meter, when it got to the melody part, it was just like boom, bum, boom. Let's see, no, that's the bass line. So it was just kind of like sung like that, and then I had to sit down and think about so it took me a while to even figure out what that was, and I just was looking at it again to try to remember, but it's just basically like, this is the pulse, and then you have a grouping of 4 that starts on the upbeat. So it's a good example of I think if you're going to play a song like this, and I still actually think about this with more metrically complicated music, it's just to find the lullaby in it, to find the thing that's kind of the most singable thing. Like, I think if I had to, it's important to remember that a lot of these things, the notation part of it is something you have to kind of discover after you have the song part of it. Yeah. But it, just figuring out how to notate that was sort of a lot harder than figuring out how to sing it. So it's kind of worth remembering that a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times metrically complicated music, if you can find where the song in it is and where the dance in it is, then it's a lot easier to improvise over. If I was actually trying to count that in 13/8, I wouldn't be able to do it. So.
And when you improvise over this, because you guys improvise with the meter changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you improvise over it, are you mostly in the back of your mind just hearing the melody?
Yes, definitely.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, this one is like, that part of it, it's sort of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, it's much more of that than it is trying to get to 13 in there somehow.
Uh-huh.
At least how we did it. I mean, actually, and at that time, I let Aaron Goldberg solo over that part because he was better at doing that than me. I think I soloed over there's another part of the song that's just in 5. So that's also, when you're leading a band, you can get people who are better than you and have them do it, and then you play over the easier part, or have them teach you how to do it. That's actually a lot of how I learned these things, is just watching other people, writing something that was hard for me, and then watching someone else do it, and then learning from that. Bye.